Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm just going to give a second. I hope I even started this on the right page. Online Grade Soul Yogis. So this is not a planned practice like my classes will be. Those will be a little bit more intentional and planned for my students. This is just my personal practice that I'm going to do and let you in on as kind of one of our just tests for technology, more or less. You can see that I've purchased a quite cumbersome, bulky headset, but what it does is allows me to have a speaker here by my phone so that you can hear me just a little bit better. Just another second, and then we'll get started, just to see if anybody pops on. If not, that's cool. In the meantime, I should say that yesterday had a little blip of anxiety in there, and I did one of my personal mindful type meditations that's not just sitting quiet, but is helpful to me. I mean, you said quiet, but your mind's not quiet. And I'm hoping to share that later. Okay, hi, somebody popped up. Okay, so just, I was just saying earlier as I popped on the live, this is just my personal practice. This is not a planned class that I sat down and worked on like I will for the classes that you come on to. So it's just really organic, what I would do on my own as my practice. Except now I'm going to wear a headset and come up to you. So hopefully you have a mat and can join me for a little bit on this Saturday morning for just a really relaxed flow. Hi, Sylvia. And then I want to also say this isn't perfection, dudes. It's like my home. There might be dogs barking. You might hear doors move or something. But I hope that's what you love about it is, you know, it's just me and you know me. And so that's why you're here, right? Instead of, you know, on one of your VHSs or something. So, all right, guys, let's get started. Happy Saturday. Just flow with me. Again, not planned. It's just my practice. Thank you for joining me. I always start just with a little bit of breath work. So let's just sit up nice and tall. You'll want to root your sit bones down. Drop your shoulders down your back. Lift up through the crown of your head. Close your eyes down. And just begin to breathe. We'll move into mostly breathing in and out through the nose. But at first you might choose to breathe a few sighing out breaths out the mouth, just kind of letting a few exhales go. Beautiful. Your eyes closed, stay focused on your breath and notice your thoughts. They're going to probably be a little all over the place. Maybe practicing this way at home is different for you. Maybe concerns of the world today, so we just acknowledge our thoughts, but we don't give them any hold. We just say, hey, there you are, and now you can pass on by. Just notice how the deep, long breath begins to calm your spirit, calm your mind. Just find a little touch of bliss, a little touch of joy, and then we'll create more for our practice. Nice work, guys. Just take your exhale breath to drop your chin towards your chest. I like to stretch out the neck right in the beginning. Gosh, we hold a lot of tension in our shoulders and neck, so just take some half circles here, just rounding it out. Kind of pretending like it's a self-massage. I like to move with the breath here. Maybe exhale the chin to the chest, and then inhale ear towards shoulder. No need to make full circles unless that's something you know feels really welcoming to you. For some of us, that's just a little too much for the neck. Very nice. Just bring your chin back to your chest. Settle it in for a minute. Why don't you just bring up the corner edges of your mouth and do a little smile here. Even if you don't feel like smiling this morning, let it come. Smile it in. Feel that smile radiate through the body. Good. Next inhale, breath. We're going to sweep the arms up, take the gaze up, stretch the front side of the neck, look up, palms will come together at the top. Exhale, hands to your heart center. And this is where we'll pause for some intention setting this morning. If you're not sure what to set as your intention, it's okay. It could just be that you want to create some peace. You want to stretch your body. It can be very simple, or it can be more profound, sending love out to the world, or dedicating your practice to someone in need. You're going to hold that intention with you throughout your practice. Bring awareness to it. Whenever your mind starts to wander, just come right back to, why are you here? What are you hoping to cultivate? For me, this morning is my personal practice, but you guys are joining in. I am hoping to cultivate peace for my Saturday and just move through it with ease. Inhale, take the arms back up overhead. Take your gaze up. Exhale, right hand to the mat, lean to the right, left fingertips reaching up and over, root your left sit bone down and just take a big stretch. You can even bend deeply into your right elbow. Keep your heart open, lifted towards the front of your room. Good, let's inhale, both hands up, and exhale, take it the other direction. If you're newer to yoga, I know we have some newer yogis practicing this morning. One good key, if you're not sure if you're stretching too far, just as long as you can smile, you're probably doing all right. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, fingertips come down behind the back. Open through the fronts of the shoulders, the chest, and the heart. Option is to just hold here and breathe, but if you need a little extra this morning, take your heart, lift it towards the sky, take your head back. Breathe into your throat. Breathe along the front side of the neck. Press into your fingertips. And then slowly bring the shoulders back over the hips. Release the hands back forward. Let's take hands in knee position. We call this tabletop. So you want to come onto your mat with your wrists underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingertips wide. You want your hips and knees to be in alignment. And that would be like the back edge of the hips. Now just notice if you have this little, that little arch in your back, just begin to engage your navel towards your spine and try to find a flat back. Okay, now you're going to take your gaze right down to the floor. Lengthen out through your tailbone, through the crown of your head. Grip your mat with your fingers. And let's begin what we call cat-cow. So we'll keep the belly toned, but inhale and let the belly sweep low as your sit bones come wide, your chest comes forward a bit, and your gaze looks up a bit. And then when you exhale, opposite way, round the spine like one of those scared Halloween cats, tuck your tail, take your chin towards your chest. Now you want to follow your breath, not my pace. So the inhale breath sweeps us forward, opens up the hips and the sit bones. The exhale breath rounds it all in, tucks the tail. Continue, just move like this with some breath here, just beginning to unite your movement and your breath. Good. I ask you just to close your eyes down for the next few cycles if you haven't already, so you can just really begin to connect inward to that movement with the breath. Good. Return to the flat back, the stillness right there. We could just serve our nice cup of coffee, or for some of you, maybe a mimosa this morning, right off our backs. No judgment there. Whew, stressful times. Let's just begin to find some gentle flow. We're going to curl all 10 toes under. Inhale the hips high, kind of like an inverted V shape, but as I do, I'm going to press my heart back towards my legs. Lower down through the heels a little bit. And lengthen out through the arms without locking your elbows. Let your head dangle here. Don't look towards the top of your mat, but rather back towards your legs. Bend your right knee. Send your left heel down towards the earth. Breathe. Roll your shoulders apart a little bit here. Broaden through the shoulder blades. Switch. Left knee bends. Right heel drops. Might have a little bit of tightness in the hamstrings. down the leg here. So just work that out. Begin to walk your dog and just at your pace, bending one knee and then the other. Remember to breathe. Don't hold the breath. The breath is the most important piece of our yoga practice, prana life. Keeping it smooth even in the activity. Nice work, guys. Slowly lower onto the knees. Take your hips all the way back towards the heels. Unwind the toes so tops of the feet touch and take your forehead to your mat if it'll reach. If not, no worries. Stretch your arms long in front of you. It's called child's pose if you're not familiar with this pose. And this is the pose that as we practice today, if you need any little breaks, I want you to come back here. Just sit down into the child's pose. And then when you're ready to join the practice, just come back wherever we're at. This will be a bit of a, I would call gentle flow is what I'm feeling I need today. So my personal practice, as I was explaining, maybe more what I need, but then the practices that you'll be popping into throughout the week that you pay for, those will be what you need, I hope, practicing with you in mind. Let's inhale, come up. I'd like to stretch the wrists. As you can see, I wear a wristband because I have a kind of funny, weak wrist here. So I turn my fingertips to the outer edges of the mat, and I see how it feels for that day. Some days I'm like, whoop, that's enough. But maybe I can go a little further. Now I could take my hands, fingertips kind of diagonally back, press in, see how that feels. Keep your core engaged a little here. And then the last step, if it feels good, and only if you feel good, fingertips towards the knees. Good. If you need more, press your hips back just a little bit. That's about as far as I can go, about an inch before I start to feel, ooh, that's a lot. You never want to have any pinching or pain in the practice. Just feel that deep, warm stretch. Like your muscles have a headache. That would be a good feeling. Good. Let's go ahead and shift the hips back forward. Shake out the right wrist a little bit. Place it back down, hands to the mat. Shake out the left wrist just gently and set it back down. Bring your fingertips onto the mat so you have a little space here, like you just made a little tense with your fingers. Step your right foot through. We're going to start just with a warm-up low lunge. Hips are squared. Right knee and right ankle are in alignment, so don't push your knee forward. That's a little dangerous. If anything, have it just slightly back. Take your inhale breath to reach your fingertips up overhead. Watch that the shoulders and ears don't come together. Drop your shoulders down your back. Find some space. Gaze forward to keep some steadiness, but if you're wobbling all over, just take your right foot open a little bit for a bigger base of support. Good. Just warming up through the shoulders here. Cactus the arms. Bring your elbows out from your shoulders here like little goal posts. The next inhale breath, if you can, if you're steady in this pose, lift your heart, look up, and pull your shoulder blades onto your back. Nice work, guys. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up as the shoulders come back over the hips. Exhale your hands down to the mat and place the left hand firmly down to the mat. Take your right hand, place it onto your right thigh. Lengthen your head forward and your right hip back. Tuck your belly in like you're trying to fit in your favorite skinny jeans, and then roll your belly towards that inner right thigh. Keep lengthening with the spine, and then if you can, reach your right arm up into the air and look up. It should be coming straight out of your shoulder, not way back here in the back, not forward. Boom, right there. Press into the left hand, rise the right fingertips, and breathe. Let's take a stretch forward of that right arm towards the front of wherever your room is, towards the front of your mat. Good. Sweep it all the way back up. Inhale, straight up. One more time. Extend, lengthen. Nice job. Lift it straight up. And then bring the right hand down to your mat. Good. This is just our warm-up portion. Stick your right leg back. Tabletop position. Take a breath. Come up on those tent fingertips, send the left leg forward, square the hips, left knee over the left ankle. Inhale, we've been here on the other side. Sweep the arms up, drop the shoulders, engage the core. Be nice and tall. Find your breath. Press your back foot down into the mat for some stability here. Inhale, reach the heart up. Cactus the arms open. Yeah, nice job. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Good. roots lengthen through your spine. Bring your left hip back so the hips stay squared forward equally. And then let's inhale, left arm in the air. But remember, if that is too much, you've got the option to find your stability with your left hand right there on the left leg. Notice this right shoulder is not going to collapse in. It's going to stay nice and strong, like you've got a little tiny balloon in your left or right shoulder that's just blowing up and keeping that shoulder engaged. Let's exhale our hand forward, stretch towards the top of the mat, and then inhale, lift it up. Nice job, guys. Exhale, take it forward one more time. Inhale, reach it up. Nice work, guys. Bring the left hand down to the mat. We're going to pick up the right knee now. So curl your right toes under, pick the knee up, and just step your way forward to forward fold, Uttanasana. We're going to sit the feet almost hip distance apart here, toes forward. Bend the knees as much as you need to if your hamstrings are pretty tight here. Imagine just kind of laying your upper body over the legs here, and then as you get ready, inhale and start to straighten the legs a bit more, never locking the knees, lifting the sit bones high, and just finding this yummy little stretch in those hamstrings. Start with the weight back into the heels a little bit, then equal it out, heels to balls of feet, and eventually over maybe a few more folds, you'll start to take the weight into the balls of the feet more than the heels. Good. Let's roll our way slowly up to standing. Just one vertebrae at a time. Let your arms dangle, your head dangle. Stack your bones, look down. Knees will come over the ankles. Hips will come over the knees now. We roll the shoulders over the hips and then the ears over the shoulders. Tuck these low ribs in so that you're not sending your chest too far out. Stand tall. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up overhead. Get nice and tall, and then exhale, tuck your belly forward, fold. Good. This inhale, put your fingertips to your shins. Take the crown of your head forward. Take your shoulders back and find a flat back here, similarly to what we did in our tabletop position. Take one more breath here, core engaged. And then on your exhale, slide all the way back down, fingertips to the earth, or maybe to some blocks if you have them, or even to your shins for a forward fold. Take both hands down to the mat, so bend your knees if you need to. Step your right foot and then your left foot back. And we're looking for that down dog positioning again. Good, we're gonna test out our position. Just seeing how we did, toes to wrists, what the distance is like. If we just float our way forward into top of a push-up plank pose, we should be able to bring our bums down, our bellies in, nothing sticking up in the air too much. And then we have it. And then we pull it all the way back up, downward facing dog. Yeah, so if you need to make any adjustments, an example might be if my feet were too far forward and I tried, I get a little stuck here and I'm like, oh, no, that isn't it. So I would come to plank and then down dog. All right, nice job, guys. Drop your right knee down and then send your left leg forward. So back to that low lunge position, but then we're gonna curl the right toes under and pick the right knee back up. All right, from here, crescent lunge. My hips are forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up. So we want to be on the ball of the back foot, plant the front foot, shoulders down, stack hips as much as you can over your shoulders. Shoulders over hips, rather. Don't put your hips over your shoulders or we're doing a headstand. Nice work. Bring your hands down to your heart center and hinge forward from your hips. Press out through your back heel. Do not lay on your left thigh. Engage that core. Find your strength. Keep your shoulders relaxing down the back of it. Nice. Now you're going to tuck that belly in like we did before and start to rotate. See if you can place the right elbow right on the left thigh and then push into the hands equally and send your left elbow towards the ceiling. Easy enough if you'll just gaze down to the floor to start. Get that balance and then take your gaze to maybe the side of the room and then maybe all the way up to the ceiling, up to you. Good. Lift your right elbow off of the knee. Come back to your center. Inhale, take the arms up overhead. Straighten the legs just a little bit more and then exhale, sink down, press through your back heel, lift up on your back thigh. Breathe. Take your hands all the way down to the mat. We're going to do our first vinyasa and we will do it modified. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Good, just building the practice. That's what I love to do, build it up. And we'll take our knees down the first time. So we're kind of in this modified plank. Chaturanga asks us to pull the elbows back, shift forward a little bit, and this time we're going to go all the way to the floor. We'll show it without the modifications next time through. Tops of the feet into the mat, shoulders down and back. Inhale, lift your head and your chest off the mat just a little bit. Gaze down to the floor for a breath. And your next inhale, pull the top of your throat back and take your gaze slightly forward. Cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Breathe. Good. Take a slow lower on an exhale breath. Head towards the mat. Now this time we're going to use our knees a little bit for some assistance. Curl your toes under, press your hands and knees into the mat, and then take it back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Remember, you can always visit that child's pose, okay? Nice work. Good. Drop the left knee, send the right foot forward. Pick up the left knee and square your hips. So I'd like you to just imagine that your hips, your hip bones are like headlights and we're making them both point forwards. Inhale, lift up. So on the back toes, root the front foot down. Crescent lunge. Good. Exhale your hands down to your heart center. Find your center here. Recall your intention. Notice your breath. Find an exhale. Sweep forward, hinging. Bring your right hip back just a little bit. Keep your headlights forward. Nice job. Begin to engage the core and maybe take that twist. Now you don't have to do everything that I do. You can always say, ooh, I'm a little bit wobbly, or I just want to stay right in this other position. You don't have to go to the next step. Taking your gaze to the floor is really good for stability always. And then if you want to change your gaze to lift it up, you can. I'm going to lift it up and look at the camera, give you guys a little wave. Hi guys, thanks for those that are still with me. Good, let's take it all the way back up. Unwind, inhale the arms up overhead. All right, I think the body is pretty warmed up here. I think we can get a little bit more strong here. Exhale, take the hands down to the mat. Step your right leg back, downward facing dog. Good, let's go ahead and just go through a non-modified vinyasa if you would like. If you're new to yoga, I'm going to ask you to just sit down onto your knees, look at your camera, and just check out what this looks like, because I don't want anybody on the other side getting hurt. And so the modified vinyasa might be the right way to go for you every time, or most of the time. So this one we would sweep forward to that plank pose, right? So we're right there. Now last time we dropped the knees. This time we're going to pull the weight forward and hover at 90 degrees. Then we're going to lift up and possibly keeping those legs off the mat, chest through. So before was cobra, down on the mat. Now where this is up dog, a little bit of difference. And then we curl the toes under, rise it all the way back up, and come to downward facing dog. Yeah, take a few breaths, coming back into your down dog if you were watching the movement. And now let's practice it together. Again, if you're like, no way, then just modify. Sweep the weight forward. Hover. Pull through. Up dog. Yeah. Pull it all the way back. Roll it under downward facing dog. Good. Whatever you did was perfect. That's what I love about yoga. It's your practice. Now we're going to try to sweep through the legs. So we're going to bring the right leg up into the air. Three-legged dog. Keep your shoulders and hips squared. Bend your right knee. Pull it all the way through, pushing your weight like you would into plank, and then drop your right foot between your hands. Now, I know we might have some new yogis out there, and your foot got about here, and you're like, well, now what do I do? I would press into my left hand and maybe help it up, or I would set my knee down, get it there, pick my knee back up. So just some options, okay? All right, so we're right foot forward. We're gonna come back to crescent lunge. Inhale, lift it up. Good, exhale, sink it lower. Nice job. Take the arms out to a T, rotate, right arm back, left arm forward. Nice, look back and see if you can find your right hand with your gaze. Good, just begin to tilt. Maybe we can set the right hand down on the back leg just gently. Bring it back. Inhale, unwind, take the arms up overhead. Exhale, take the hands to the mat. Push that right leg back into the air. Three-legged dog, lift it up. Send your heart back. Nice job. Lower the foot down. Downward facing dog, breathe.
Go through a vinyasa. Come forward, plank. Remember, we can use the knees if we want. Chaturanga. Maybe we're going to lower all the way to the mat. Do modified inhale to cobra. If you want, slide it through. Get a little off the mat. Up dog. Meet me in downward facing dog. Tuck the navel. Lift the hips. Lower the heels. Don't lock your knees. Don't lock your elbows. Broaden your shoulders and press your fingertips into the mat. Another little cue that might help you if you're newer. Your wrists are going to be a little bit needing some strengthening from all of this. So press into that shape between your pointer finger and your thumb. It makes an L. Press in there a little more deeply as well. Left leg rises. Three-legged dog. Whew, guys, I'm going to have to figure out how to get some air flow in here. We don't have our air on yet, and it's about 80 degrees in the house. Yeah, step all the way through. Nice. Now I'll give you a second in case that left foot didn't make it up there. You'll get there. It's practice, not perfection. Yoga practice. Yeah, inhale, crescent lunge when you're ready. Nice and tall to start, and then sink it down. Find your happy spot. Notice those hips squared forward, shoulders down, core engaged. Tee the arms out, palms facing down. Rotate all the way as far as you can. We are looking to the left. And then inhale, just find a little tilt. Now you might notice one side you can touch back, one side you can't. That's normal. Good, come back. Unwind, arms up. Exhale, fingertips down. Press the hands into the mat and push your left leg into the air. Three-legged dog. Good. Drop it down, downward facing dog. Good. Here we're going to send our weight forward into that plank pose. Hold. Pick up the right foot, shift the right foot, and send it outside of the right hand. You can put your right hand, one handprint in if you'd like. Lizard pose. Tuck your hips to square. Good. Press into the left hand, right hand onto right thigh, or same rotation here, different pose. Reach out through the back heel and take your arm up into the air. Right arm into the air. Good. Now the more length we can get in the spine in this twist, the better. So keep thinking hips back, head forward. Drop the left knee down, pick up your left toes. See if you can find a little reach back and find the toes. If not, that's okay. You just do what you can. You might notice, if you can see in the camera, I'm up on my left fingertip, so a block is helpful here too. Good. Slow lower that foot down. Don't let it flop down. Take the arm back up into the air and then back all the way around. Set it inside of the right foot again. Pick up your left knee. And now pick up your right foot. Try not to drag it across your mat and come back to plank. Good. We're going to take 3 flows. Plank, down dog. Okay? Good. Float it back. Plank. Inhale. Down dog. One more time. Plank. Downward facing dog. Good. Come back to plank. Pick the left foot up when you're there. Send it outside your left hand. Maybe shimmy that left hand in a little bit. Yeah. Square up your hips as much as you can. Lengthen from your right heel all the way out through the crown of the head. Press into the right hand. Feel free to leave the left hand onto the thigh as you rotate, keeping a broad, long right shoulder here, not collapsing, and then lifting the left arm into the air. Once again, arm coming straight out of the shoulders, shooting straight up. Take that right knee slowly down to the mat. Check in with the hips, still squaring them up as much as we can. Pick up the right toes, reach back. Good. Every side is different, so this side I can stay rooted on my right. Notice your body, connect in with these little messages. Start to learn about yourself here. Knowledge is power. Release. Bring the left hand back inside of the left foot. Pick up the right knee. Get strong. Press into your mat with your hands. Lift your left leg. Plank pose. And hips up. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Good. If you need a little break, you come down into child's pose. Otherwise, use these down dogs as your rest. Catch your breath. Let it all out. Step forward. Forward fold. We're rooting the feet down, deepening the fold from the previous times. Lifting our sit bones, taking nose towards knee, top of head towards earth. Good. We're coming up a bit different this time. Sweep the arms all the way out. Keep your spine long and reach up nice and tall. Take your thumbs back, pinkies up, and lift your heart. Good. Exhale, take a forward fold. Tuck their belly in. Inhale, we rise halfway. Yes, exhale. Hands down to the mat, fingertips down. Take your right leg back. I'd like you to drop your right heel to the left. Look back and see where your foot landed parallel to the back edge of your mat. And then shimmy so that your front heel and your back arch are lined up in a line. Like there could be just a plumb line there. And then as you come up, you'll take your right arm back, your left arm forward. And then these hips are going to swizzle to the right edge of the mat. Look down, make sure you can still see your front big toe. If not, open the hip. And then arms will move out to the front and back of the room. Good. Turn your gaze over your front fingertips. Probably, depending on how you set up your mat, you might be looking towards the screen here. Nice. Good. We're going to take a reverse warrior here, a little different this morning. So I want to hinge back, just like I did in my lizard. Hinge back, reach the left arm up and the right arm down. We're going to take about one breath here. And then we're going to flip so that this right palm is up. And just begin to bring it back up. Grab that left wrist if you can, and then stretch it back even more. Lift your heart. Nice. Come all the way back to warrior two. So right hand back, left hand forward. Side angle pose. Left elbow to left knee, right arm into the air. You see a lot of these poses are similar. Now here, what I'd like you to do is rotate your body open. So you're going to think your heart to the right, stack your hips, stack your ribs, stack your shoulders. Reach that top arm forward. Now, just imagine stretching from that back foot out through the front fingertips, nice and long. If you have a block or you're super flexible, you can take that left hand all the way down to the floor. Good. Open back up and come back to warrior two. Take the hands down to the mat. Swizzle your right toes forward. Step your way forward. Forward fold. Good place for a sighing out breath. Just let all your stresses go here. Nice work. Take a step back with the left leg. Turn your left heel to the right. Heel arch alignment. Moving just a bit swifter now that you've got the pose. Warrior two. Right arm forward, left arm back. Tuck your left glute under just a little bit. Reverse warrior, front palm flips over, and I reach up and back away from my right hip. Good. Left palm also up. Reach up, find that wrist, and stretch it back just a tiny bit more. I want to feel my whole right side body just eking a little bit bigger. Stretch it. Yeah, back to warrior two. Shoulders over the hips, bend the front elbow, place it down to the knee. Reach away from the back foot. Rolling open here, so we want to just find this beautiful, it's not going to be like this, but the imaginary is that there's a wall along my backside body, and I'm going to try to flatten that out as much as possible. Feel free to take extended side angle if you'd like, and then reaching that arm towards the front of the room. Good. Inhale, the upper body lifts back up. We're back in warrior two. Excellent work. Take the hands all the way down to the mat. Swizzle your left toes forward. Step your right leg back. Downward facing dog. Heavy your heels here a little bit more. We're nice and warm now. Inhaling, pike up onto the toes. Float your weight forward towards plank. Now, as though there's a big wave or a ball under you, lift up your hips, pike onto the toes, roll it down, and drop the heels. 2 more times. Big lift up onto the toes, forward to plank. Big lift through the belly and the hips, and back to down dog, lower the heels. So 1 more time. Beautiful work. Take that right leg into the air, float it up and back, three-legged dog. Good, step that right foot all the way through. Dropping the left heel down again, but this time line your heels up, so it's a little bit different. So it's still paralleling the back edge of the mat, but heel alignment. Pull your right hip back, square your hips up towards the front of the mat, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. So now my hips are swizzling towards front of the mat. You can make sure the knee comes over the ankle or slightly behind. Last breath, find your strength in your warrior poses. Exhale, hands to the mat. Now, turn the left toes forward. Send the right leg back, three-legged dog. Bend the right knee and open your belly button towards the right edge of your mat. Turn your torso that way. Stay strong in your shoulders. Push your right heel towards the back of your, like where your left ear would be. Look under your right armpit. Good. Glide it all the way back around, three-legged dog. Your right toes point towards the floor. Your right heel towards the ceiling. Good. Step that right foot down. Downward facing dog. Lift the left leg in the air. Stretch it out. Push out through the heel. Push down through your right heel. Look forward. Step it all the way through. Dropping the right heel to the left and looking for a bit of a heel alignment. Hips square to the front of the mat. Virabhadrasana 1 on this side. Find your breath. Soften your shoulders. Remember your intention. Find your strength. Hands down to the mat, exhale. Toes turn back forward. Left leg lifts into the air, three-legged dog. Bend the left knee. Send that torso looking towards the left. Send the left heel towards the right ear. Open up through your hip flexor, through your quads. Good, bring it back around. Three-legged dog, downward facing dog. Just take a little break, drop to your knees, child's pose. Round your wrists around a little bit. Now in my personal practice, I like to add a little bit of strength training, and that will come sometimes into the flow I'll be teaching. And I would say that this class that I'm doing right now, my personal practice, will be more similar to that flow class. So if you're comparing gentle or flow, if this feels a little strenuous this morning, you might want to back off to gentle for just a little bit. Or if you're feeling a little lost in the poses, and then as you get more comfortable, a little bit more strong, come back to flow. All right, so on this part, just encourage you to do what you can and, forget the rest. Do your best, forget the rest. I think Tony Horton says that. So we're gonna inhale and come to a plank pose. Place your wrists and your shoulders in alignment, toes back, heels pressing out, belly's in. This is great core work we're about to engage in here. Anybody still with me? All right, nobody gave up on me yet. Okay, so we're gonna turn our heels over to the left, press into the left hand, and reach the right arm into the air. So this is a side plank, and you don't want your hips to drop here. You wanna have a little lift in them, so you're getting your oblique. Now you have the option to drop this bottom knee down if that feels like it's a little bit easier for you. Good. We're gonna reach that top arm forward. We're gonna press the bottom foot into the mat a little bit stronger. Pull the top knee up, elbow touches. Reach it out, pull it in. Reach it out, pull it in. We've got one more, just for each side. Nice, hold on the stretch. And then just rotate back, plank pose. Want a little break? Knees come down to modified plank. Good, breathe, keep the core in. Keep your shoulders down. We're gonna go to the other side. Come back to plank. Remember, you can take the bottom knee down. Roll over onto heels, dropping to right. Right arm is rooted. Lift up. Pike the hips a little bit here. So this could be all we do. That'd be fine. Otherwise, lift that top leg, Reach forward and start. Squeeze in the obliques, and if you fall over, just come back. Have a good laugh at yourself. Be nice to yourself. Last one. Good. Lengthen it out, hold, and rotate back to plank. Send the hips high, downward dog, and breathe. Pike up onto the toes, sink the heels. Pike up onto the toes. Now you're either gonna walk your way forward, or if you'd like to take a little hop to the top of the mat, try to leave your hips as high as you can and land as soft as you can. Good, forward fold. Now walk your toes together. Big toe sides of the feet touch. Very hard for me because I'm a little knock-kneed, but try to bring the legs together. On the inhale, let your arms sweep forward, your hips sit down and back, and then I want you to, if you can, bring your hands to your thighs, press away so that your heart comes up. Tailbone tucks in a little bit, belly in, and then reach the arms up. Now I want you just to pretend that you have to squeeze something in between your legs here and hold it there, maybe like a roll of pennies. And bring your hands to your heart. Good. Sink a little lower now if you can. And bring your left elbow outside onto your right outer thigh. Finding a bit of twist here. Look down. If your left knee's scooted forward, try to pull it back. Nice. Come back to your center. Stay low with the hips. Lift your heart. And then go to the other side. It took me some practice to learn to keep those hips back. They want to slide and move around here. Look up if you can over your left elbow. Feel the warmth building in the body. It is warm here in Florida. Bring it back to center. Take your hands down to the mat and then slide and glide those hips up, forward fold. Nice work, guys. Shake your head just very, 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 very gently here, like nothing too crazy. Just let some tension out. Nice work. Put your hands to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Now we're going to come to pigeon pose and get a little stretchy. So here's how this works. If you haven't come from down dog before, bring your right leg up into that three-legged dog where we've been. And just imagine your right shin paralleling the front edge of the mat. So the right knee will float forward and we'll set it behind the right wrist and the right ankle behind the left wrist. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. And then I'm going to set myself down so I'm kind of on my left knee. I begin to walk my left foot back and then uncurl that left foot. So I'm kind of on the upper front of my left thigh. This right glute may float. Better to have that happen than to lean to the right, okay? And so you've got this pelvic bowl. We want to kind of steady that out. If that means you need to pull your right heel towards your left hip flexor, that's okay. Good. So from here, if we can keep a long spine, we're going to begin to just slowly bend the elbows and lower our heart towards the earth. Now maybe that's too far. You can just come to rest on the elbows and then maybe put your head in your hands. Or if you can, go ahead and lower the weight of your upper body over the front right leg. Again, just noticing that we're not rolling too far to the right, losing the stretch. I ask you just check in on a couple things. Flexing the right foot if you can. If it's too much, that's okay, don't do it. And pushing the left thigh down into the mat. Good, it should feel like a nice achy pull in there. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Take a few nice smooth breaths here. We're slowing things down a bit. And just become mindful of where we're feeling our stretch here. Looking to see where we're holding extra tensions today in the body. And sending some breath into those spaces, allowing them to relax, encouraging them to relax. Talk to yourself here. Tell yourself it's okay. I allow you to let go. We'll just be here a few more breaths. Let it all sink in, just marinating in the stretch. That's fantastic. On our inhale, let's begin to slowly come back. Bring your hands back to that down dog positioning at the top of the mat. Tuck your left toes under, strengthen up like you're pushing into something heavy, and lift your right hip off the mat. And then just slide that right foot back into down dog position. If you need a little bit of rotation here, you can even pick up the leg and just kind of move it around, or put your toes to the floor, move it around. Get the blood flow back in. Once you're there, come back, downward facing dog, and then inhale the left leg up into the air. We're gonna pull it all the way through. Now, for some of you out there who might watch this video later and you try to do this and you say, well, I can't do that, it causes pain, or I have too much knee pain. Real quick, I'm gonna show something you can do. You can flip this pose over, tuck your ankle into the thigh, and then pull it in this way. You might have seen that stretch before, so it's like a reverse pigeon pose. Okay, so here we are. Press into the upper right thigh. Don't sink into the left glute. And if you haven't already, find your sleepy pigeon. Relax your jaw. Flexing the left foot if you can, pressing down into the right thigh. Using a bit of mantra here. Maybe let go. Just say it over and over with your breath. Let go. We might find that more than just our physical body lets go. Maybe some emotions, that's okay. Let your fear go. Let your stress over the future go. You need to just sigh out through your mouth a couple big times. Even if you need to cry a little, it's okay. Your practice is more than physical. It heals us, body, mind, soul. Take a few more breaths on this side. Inhale, work your hands back to your mat. We're getting ready to visit our final downward facing dog of this practice this morning. Curl the toes under, lift the left hip, and then bring the left foot back. Bend the elbows just a tiny bit and kind of heavy the length of your body down in between the shoulders a little. Let your head be heavy. And then from that heavy space, begin to straighten the arms back out without locking them. So we just create this beautiful kind of tractioning down the spine, the opposite direction from all our seated and standing postures that we take throughout life. And then last time, lower the heels down. If they touch the floor, that's fine, but no goal to do so. Leave the knees just a little bent. Nice. We're lowering down to the knees about mid-mat and then walking the knees to the wide edge of the mat. Setting our big toes to touch. Press your hips all the way back like we did in child's pose, but with wide legs here. Sink your heart down towards the floor. Bend the elbows enough that you can really just feel relaxed in this pose. Now, I could come down further if you're looking up to the screen to see what I'm doing. If you go as deep as you want, this little microphone just only allows me to come so far. I want you to feel the depth of the pose and really release into it. If you feel like you're holding on, just use the mantra, allow. Just allow softness. Allow peace. Breathe it out. Take just a few more breaths here. We'll do a couple more cool down stretches and then we'll have some Shavasana time. Everybody's favorite. And when we inhale, slowly lift your way back up. And we're on our hands. We're going to lift our hips a little bit, walk the knees back in, and then we're going to find tabletop position. So if you'll remember where we started, this tabletop position. Press into your left hand, and let's rotate that body open. We've done this many times in the practice, and reach the right arm up. Now, find an exhale breath, and pull your right arm underneath the left. Set your right shoulder down onto the mat. So your right fingertips are reaching out to the left, and your right shoulder's on the mat. Place your head down, looking to the left. Push into your left hand a little bit to just draw your heart open to the left a tiny bit more. The hips will stay over the knees pretty much here. You can stay right here, or inhale, lift the left arm up into the air, pressing deeper into that right shoulder down in the mat, like you're massaging your shoulder with the mat. And then exhaling, next exhale, bend the elbow and send the back of your left palm to your outer right hip if you can, and roll the left shoulder open. So now we're massaging the right shoulder and we're opening the left. Good. Unwind the left hand back to the mat if you took that half bind. And then inhale, press into the left hand, open your body to the right, reach the right arm back up, gaze up, and then right hand back to the mat. Readjust your tabletop, then press into the right hand, open to the left, lifting left arm up into the air. If it won't come all the way open here, that's okay. Maybe it gets stuck a little bit forward of the shoulder. You'll get there. Exhale, left arm under the right, and left shoulder down to the mat, and the head down to the mat. And I want to encourage you, even if you never get there, that's okay too. All of these poses are very individual. Inhale, take the right arm up into the air. And then rotating back palm to the left hip. If it won't come all that way far yet, just take it to the sacrum. Push into the left shoulder, roll the right shoulder open. A few more breaths. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to get a clock in here. Don't even know how long we've been practicing. Release the hand, reach it up overhead. Right hand comes back down to the mat. Now we're going to press into that right hand, open back up, send the left arm into the air. And release the hand down to the mat. Good. Walk your knees forward towards your wrists. Cross one ankle over top of the other. And then sit back behind your feet to come to seated. You'll be facing forward on your mat, but I'm going to turn to face the camera here. Nice. Stretch your legs out. Give your knees a little love. Rub them out a little. And then pick your toes up. Put them in a straight line. And rock side to side here. And gently, very, very gently, just kind of give a little pull to any fleshy areas you have. I might have a little more than some of you. And then root those sit bones down. Good. We're just going to learn a little bit about some yoga binds here. I really enjoy practicing these. So what we want to do here is find a press down of the heels and legs into the mat. So like you're trying to, if this was clay, you're trying to imprint your legs into the clay. And then lift up nice and tall. See if you can lengthen through your spine, not too much arcing in the back. Shoulders are just relaxing down, and press your hands into the mat. So now we have this very engaged seated pose known as staff pose. And what we want to do now is find 3 binds in the body. We're going to take a little pelvic floor lift. If you guys aren't sure what a pelvic floor lift is, just kind of hugging in as though you drank a big gulp of something healthy, like maybe iced tea or green tea, and you need to go to the rest stop, but there's not one for 10 miles, and so you're holding it. That's the move we want here, Mula Bandha. So find that little lift, hold that, and then check in. Are you still doing everything else? Pressing the legs down, lifting up through the crown of the head, pressing the hands down. Hold all that, pull your navel towards your spine and up towards your ribs. So a little J shape for Uddiyana Bandha. Now we might even start to feel a little shaky, even though it seems like, well, I'm just sitting here, but ooh, those binds hold the energy we're creating and that heat in the body. Beautiful. Last bind, it's kind of different. You think about your jaw kind of smiling. So you're not necessarily smiling with your lips, but that pulling back of the jaw muscles slightly. And just hold here. Don't hold your breath. Try to breathe, but try to hold all these binds. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha. Find a little quiver. And then soften all of those binds. Soften your muscles about 20% and just hold. Just feel all that energy pour out, release. Good. Inhale, take the arms up overhead. And exhale, soft forward fold here. Just find a little natural rounding to the back without actually trying to round. Let your head just deepen down towards the legs a little. If you can't reach your feet, that's perfectly fine. Just grab on where you can. Anytime we're folding in, good time to let tension go. If your mind wanders to what you're doing next, just let it go. If it wanders to uncertainty, breathe it out. Inhale, look up at your toes and begin to lift up. Sweep your arms behind you. So think of like thumbs face down, so I'm then opening through my shoulders, and then place the fingertips down to the floor and then the hands. So you're going to find a little lean back. You're going to have a little stretch back here into your heart. Good. Now flip the palms around. So I want them to face toward your bum. I'm going to give you 2 options. We can bend the knees and come to a reverse tabletop. So that would be where we've been, only the opposite way, and it'll look like this. Just lift the hips, try to flatten the belly out and look down your belly, or let your head float all the way back. Or if you'd like to try a little bit stronger, keep the legs out stretched. Inhale and reverse your plank pose. Take your toes to the floor, hips come up. And we're just either going to, again, gaze down the body or really let the head go. And for the sake of the headset, I'm going to gaze down my body. Nowhere in the middle, don't stress your neck. Lift, lift, lift. Good. Slow, lower. Hips come down. Root those sit bones. Shoulders over hips. One more time. Inhale the arms up. Exhale and fold. Nice work, guys. Just a couple breaths in this fold. And it feels like, I'm sure to my students, they cannot get out of practice without at least one Baddha Konasana, maybe one of my very favorite poses. Draw your knees out to the sides, soles of the feet together, and scoot your hips just a little bit towards the heels. Looking for maybe the knees to be about hip height or lower, even if you have to gently press your hands just into the thighs, but make sure it doesn't hurt at all. Now, step 1 is just kind of sit up tall. And try to think about relaxing your hips in such a way that the knees just would fall towards the floor. And then once you're there, if you're not uncomfortable and it's not too pinchy or anything, then just feel free to exhale your heart forward towards the earth. I'm going to ask for this one, a long spine. So imagine kind of just drawing long through your spine, crown of the head forward. Take a couple breaths here. And then we'll inhale and lift back up. Nice. All right, draw your knees together. and roll all the way down onto your mat. So come down onto your back and tuck your knees to your chest and just roll around on your mat. This is one of my favorite things to do. Even if I don't have time to practice yoga, I'll just do a couple forward folds on the floor, roll around on my spine a little bit, maybe stick my legs up the wall for a few minutes, and it just brings a lot of peace, just those few little moments. Good. Our stretch here will be to lift the legs straight up into the air and then create a V shape. So just go ahead and let those legs fall open into a V shape. And imagine that your feet on the ends are like bricks, just heavy out there. You can have your arms wherever you want. This is nice to do against a wall, having the legs against the wall. Maybe one of my videos, I'll show the best way to do that. Good. Go ahead and pull those legs back together. Bend the knees. Draw them into your heart. No rocking here. Just pull the arms as deeply as you can around the legs and give yourself a great big hug. Thank you for joining in my personal practice today. I need to practice with the technology a little bit. Appreciate you. Take your feet and lower them down to the mat. Take your arms, stretch them up overhead, lengthen out your legs, and just take a few deep breaths into the length of your body. Again, if you didn't tune in through the whole video, I was saying that this class would be a little bit more what flow class will look like. You can jump into gentle class or even a chair yoga this week if you're curious. Open the legs up to the outer corners of the mat, and then draw the arms down to either side of the body, but try not to touch the side body. Take up some space. I'm lucky, my dogs can't get to me, but if you have pets at home, you might expect them to come, see if you're alive, maybe lick your face, that's okay. Try to stay relaxed through it. So just heavying our body down into the mat, close your eyes. No work to be done here. Your practice effort is done. Now you practice ease. Just pull back from your outer senses. There might be noises around you, movement, things that your mind says you need to do. Just pull back and pull in. Keep diving in, keep your eyes closed softly, and keep your breath smooth and easy, no effort. Beautiful part about practicing at home is if you want to lay in Shavasana for the next 30 minutes, you can. Use this time for you. Relax. This is where I'll be leaving you for the day. I won't even ask you to set up if you're not ready. Know that I see and feel your presence when you are with me. I thank you. I honor the light that's within you that is also within me. May you have a wonderful